You've heard the names a million times, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. But what are they really? Well, today we're going to dig deep past all the hype and get right down to the absolute foundation of the entire crypto world, the layer one blockchains that everything, and I mean everything, is built on. Think about it. Every single NFT, every decentralized finance app, every transaction, it all has to live somewhere. And that somewhere is this invisible bedrock, the fundamental layer of trust and security that holds the whole thing up. So let's make it visible. All right, so just like you can understand a skyscraper without looking at its foundation, you can't get crypto without understanding this. We have to start at the very bottom, the digital ground floor. This is the core infrastructure we're talking about. So what is a layer one? In the simplest terms, it's the main network itself. It's a totally self-contained system that processes its own transactions and guarantees its own security. It's not just the foundation of the digital building, it's the plot of land too. Everything else gets built right on top of it. And you already know the big players. You've got Bitcoin, the original, the OG digital gold. You've got Ethereum, the one that really kicked off the whole smart contract revolution. And then you have these newer challengers like Solana and Cardano, all trying to build a better, faster foundation. Each one is its own independent world, all competing to be the bedrock for the future of the internet. Okay, but wait a minute. If there's no single company, no CEO running these things, how do they even work? How do you establish the rules and keep everything secure? Well, it all comes down to a really clever digital blueprint and a sort of building code that everyone has to follow. And this, right here, is the multi-trillion-dollar question, isn't it? You have this network with thousands of people all over the world, none of whom have to trust each other. So how do they all agree on what's true? How do you stop people from cheating the system when there's no central authority watching over them? The answer is something called a consensus mechanism. And there are two main flavors. First up, you have proof of work, which is what Bitcoin uses. Think of it like a massive race where miners use powerful computers to solve incredibly complex math problems. It's ridiculously secure, but man, it uses a ton of energy. The other way is proof of stake, used by networks like Ethereum. Instead of mining, validators put their own crypto on the line as collateral to prove they're acting honestly. It's way more energy efficient and usually a lot faster. Now, any team building a layer one runs into this massive challenge called the blockchain trilemma. You see, they're trying to juggle three things at once: ironclad security, true decentralization so no one person is in charge, and massive scalability so it can handle tons of users. But here's the catch. It's almost impossible to have all three at the same time. If you crank up the speed, you might have to sacrifice some decentralization. It's this constant high-stakes trade-off. Okay, so we've got our foundation, we've established the rules of the game. Now for the fun part. What can you actually build on this digital bedrock? This is where things get really, really cool. The main tool in the toolbox is the smart contract. Forget about paper and lawyers for a second. This is just code that automatically runs when certain conditions are met. So if A happens, then the contract automatically does B. It's like a digital vending machine for anything. These are the cranes, the power drills, the tools that let developers build all sorts of amazing applications on the blockchain. And what are they building? Entire new worlds. We're talking brand new financial systems with DeFi, where you're the bank. We're talking digital art and collectibles with NFTs that you can prove you own. Even video games where you, the player, truly own your in-game items. And every single bit of it is ultimately secured by that underlying layer one foundation. But, what happens when your building gets super popular? What happens when everyone wants to move in at the exact same time? Well, you start to see some stress cracks. And this brings us to the biggest challenge of all, scalability. Yeah, when a popular network like Ethereum gets really busy, it creates, for lack of a better term, a digital traffic jam. It's exactly like a highway at 5 p.m. on a Friday. There are just too many transactions trying to squeeze through at once, and the whole system just slows down. And that traffic jam has very real consequences for you, the user. Suddenly, your transaction, which should take seconds, might take minutes or even longer. And worse, the price to get in goes way up. Just like a surge price on a ride-sharing app, the fee to get your transaction processed can skyrocket as everyone is fighting for that very limited space. So what's the fix? Do you have to tear the whole building down and start over? Nope. The really clever solution is to build up. You add new, faster layers right on top of that super secure original foundation. So here's how you can think about it. The layer 1 is the main highway. It's built for security, it's reliable, but it can get congested. A layer 2 is like an express toll lane built right over that highway. It handles a massive number of cars or transactions, super fast and super cheap. And then it bundles them all together and settles them as one big, secure batch on the main highway below. And this is absolutely the most important thing to remember. No matter what happens on those express lanes, no matter how many layers you build on top, the Layer 1 blockchain is always the final source of truth. It's the ultimate settlement layer where everything gets recorded and secured for good. It is and always will be the backbone. But the story is far from over. The race is still on to make these foundations even better. Developers are pushing the limits every day to get more speed, build bridges so these different blockchains can talk to each other, and make them even more decentralized. The blueprint for what's next is literally being redrawn as we speak. So as more and more of our lives move into these new digital worlds, the real question isn't just about what's being built, but what it's being built on. Which of these foundations will prove to be strong enough, secure enough, and decentralized enough to actually support the future? That's the question we all have to think about.